Stories train your ears to listen naturally, help you remember words faster, and make speaking easier without stress. You'll also practice real shadowing, pronunciation, and focus listening with me through 7 powerful stories. So watch till the end, because this lesson will show you how to learn English the smart, natural, and fun way. Chapter 1. The Magic of Learning with Stories. When I first started learning English, I felt lost. I memorized long lists of words. I studied grammar rules. I filled notebooks with exercises. But when it came time to speak or listen, everything disappeared from my mind. It was like I had words, but no life in them. Then one day, I found something different. Stories. Short, simple English stories that made me forget I was even learning. I started to feel English, not just read it. Stories have a secret power. They don't just teach you words. They make you see them, feel them, remember them. When you listen to a story, your brain connects words with emotions, pictures, and ideas. That's why children learn so fast, because they learn from stories, not from grammar books. When you learn through stories, English becomes natural. You don't force it, you live it. Every story is a small world. There are characters, feelings, and lessons. When you hear the words again and again in context, your brain starts building connections. Suddenly, you understand without translating. You start speaking with flow because you've heard the rhythm of real sentences. The best part? You don't even realize how much you're learning. When I tell my students to use short stories, I ask them to do 3 simple things. Listen carefully, repeat the sentences aloud, and imagine the meaning. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you forget a few words. What matters is that you stay connected to the story. That's how real learning happens, with focus, curiosity, and feeling. Let me give you an example. If you hear the boy was tired but he didn't give up, your brain isn't just hearing English. It's feeling determination. If you say it again aloud, he didn't give up, you are teaching your mouth, your voice, and your confidence to work together. That's the magic of repetition inside a story. It's not boring. It's alive. Now, when you listen to stories in English, I want you to do something simple but powerful. When you hear a short sentence, say it again softly. Match the rhythm. Feel the sound. That's called shadowing. It's how great speakers train their ears and tongues. Do it with emotion, as if you are the character. If you hear "I am brave," say it proudly. If you hear "I am tired," say it slowly. The more real you make it, the more fluent you become. You don't need long novels or complicated stories. Start small, short moral tales, classic children's fables, even modern mini-stories written in simple English. They are gold for beginners. Each story teaches you structure, pronunciation, and emotion all at once. So from today, promise yourself this: you won't just study English. You'll experience it. You'll live each story like it's happening to you. You'll listen deeply, repeat with meaning, and let English grow inside you naturally, because every story is a teacher. Every character is your friend, and every sentence you repeat is one step closer to fluency. Chapter 2. The Honest Woodcutter. It was a quiet afternoon near a deep forest. A man was working hard cutting wood beside a river. He was poor but content, earning just enough to feed his family. His hands were rough, his clothes were old, but his heart was pure. As he swung his axe again and again, sweat ran down his face. Then, suddenly, the axe slipped from his hand and fell into the river. He looked down in shock. The river was deep and fast. His only tool, the one thing he needed to survive, was gone. For a moment, he stood still. His heart sank. Without that axe, he couldn't earn money. He couldn't cut wood. He couldn't bring food home. He sat on a rock and whispered, "What will I do now?" But instead of complaining, he simply looked at the water with sadness. Then something strange happened. The surface of the river began to shine. A bright light appeared, and from it came an angel holding a golden axe. The angel spoke kindly. "Is this your axe?" The man shook his head and said, "No, that is not mine. My axe was old and made of iron." The angel disappeared again and returned with a shining silver axe. "Is this one yours?" The man smiled sadly. "No, this is not mine either. Mine was just a simple one." The angel looked at him for a moment and smiled. She went back into the water and came up again, this time holding the man's old iron axe. "Is this your axe?" The man's face lit up. "Yes, that's mine. Thank you." The angel looked at him with admiration. "You are an honest man," she said. "You could have taken the golden or silver one, but you chose truth. Take all three. You deserve them." The man could hardly believe it. He bowed his head with gratitude and took the axes. When he returned to his village, people were amazed. They asked how he got the golden axe. He told the truth about what had happened. Some greedy men heard his story and decided to copy him. One of them went to the same river, threw his axe into the water on purpose, and waited. The angel appeared again with a golden axe and asked, "Is this your axe?" The man quickly said, "Yes, yes, that's mine." But the angel frowned and said, "You are not honest." The angel vanished, taking even his old axe with her. The man went home empty-handed. This story isn't just about honesty. It's about who you are when no one is watching. Every time you speak truthfully in English, even when it's hard, you are training not just your language but your character. Say this sentence aloud: "I am honest." Feel how clear it sounds. Say it again: "I speak with truth." When you practice these sentences, don't just repeat words, live them. That's the beauty of stories. They don't just teach you grammar, they remind you what kind of person you want to be. Honesty builds trust, and trust builds confidence. When you speak English with truth, you sound real, strong, and human. So today, learn this small story deeply. Repeat the key words: honest, river, axe, truth, reward. Say them slowly and clearly. You can even shadow the sentences, repeat them softly right after hearing them. The more you feel the meaning, the stronger your English becomes. Because, just like the honest woodcutter, you'll find your reward too. Not gold, not silver, but the power to express yourself with truth and confidence. Chapter 3: The Lion and the Mouse. A great lion was sleeping under a tree on a hot day. His golden mane shone in the sunlight, and the forest was calm around him. Suddenly, a tiny mouse came running across the grass. It didn't see where it was going and ran straight onto the lion's paw. The lion woke up with a loud roar. The little mouse froze. Its small heart was beating fast. The lion lifted his paw and trapped the mouse under it. "Who dares to wake me?" he growled, his deep voice shaking the air. The mouse trembled and said, "I'm sorry, mighty lion. It was a mistake. Please forgive me. Let me go, and one day I will help you." The lion looked at the mouse and started laughing. You? Help me. You are too small to help a lion. The mouse looked up and said softly, Maybe one day I can. The lion stared for a moment. His anger melted into amusement. He lifted his paw and let the mouse run away. Days passed. The forest was full of life again. Birds sang, monkeys played, and the lion walked proudly as king of the jungle. But one afternoon, while chasing a deer, the lion got caught in a hunter's net. The ropes were strong, and he couldn't break free. He roared and roared, shaking the trees, but no one came. Hours passed, and his strength began to fade. Just then, he heard a small voice nearby. Don't worry, my friend, I will help you. It was the same mouse. The mouse climbed onto the net and began biting the ropes one by one. Its teeth worked fast, cutting through the knots. The lion stayed still, watching in silence. After some time, the net fell apart, and the lion was free. The lion stood up, amazed. You saved my life, he said. The mouse smiled and replied, I told you, one day I would help you. The lion bowed his head and said, Thank you, little friend. I'll never forget this. This small story carries a big message. No one is too small to help another. True strength isn't in size, it's in kindness. Many learners feel like the mouse when they start speaking English, small, unsure, and afraid. But just like the mouse, you can grow stronger with every word you speak. Even small steps matter. Each sentence you repeat builds courage inside you. Try saying this out loud. I can learn. I can help. I am not small. Feel the meaning behind every word. When you repeat these sentences, you aren't just practicing English, you're shaping your mindset. That's what stories do. They help you learn language through feeling, not fear. Now let's use this story for practice. Focus on rhythm and emotion. Say, Please forgive me. Then say, I told you, one day I would help you. Listen to how your voice changes with each line. The story teaches you how to express emotion, how to sound kind, brave, or thankful. These are real skills you'll use in every conversation. So, remember the lesson from the lion and the mouse. Be kind, be brave, and never think you're too small to improve. English fluency grows like friendship, through trust, practice, and patience. Chapter 4. The Thirsty Crow. It was a hot summer day, the sun was burning bright in the sky, and the air felt heavy and still. A crow was flying from one tree to another, searching for water. His throat was dry, and his wings felt tired. He looked around, but every pond had dried up, and every pot he found was empty. The more he flew, the weaker he became. But still, he didn't stop. He kept going, because giving up would mean dying of thirst. After a long time, he saw a small clay pot in a garden. His heart filled with hope. He flew down quickly and looked inside. There was some water, but it was at the bottom. The crow tried to reach it with his beak, but it was too deep. He pushed the pot, but it didn't move. For a moment, he stood silently beside it, feeling helpless. Then, suddenly, an idea came to his mind. He looked around and saw small stones on the ground. He picked up one stone and dropped it into the pot. The water moved up a little. He picked another stone and dropped it in again. Then another, and another. The water slowly began to rise. The crow became more excited. His wings trembled with energy again. He kept picking up stones, one after another, without stopping. Finally, the water reached the top. The crow drank it happily and felt alive again. He looked up at the sky as if to say, "Thank you," and flew away stronger than before. This story is simple, but it carries a lesson that can change the way you learn English. Like the crow, many learners feel tired when progress seems slow. They study for days, and yet speaking feels difficult. They think, maybe English is not for me. But remember, just like the crow, you don't need luck, you need persistence and creativity. One small stone at a time, and you will fill your pot of fluency. Each new word you learn is like one stone. Every sentence you repeat is another. Every video you listen to is one more step. It may feel slow, but every effort counts. Say these sentences out loud. I will keep going. I am learning. I will not give up. These are not just words, they are your promise to yourself. When you practice English, think like the crow. Don't fly away when things feel hard. Think, what can I do differently? Maybe listen to easier stories. Maybe repeat after the speaker. Maybe speak to yourself when no one is around. Each small idea brings you closer to your goal. Now let's use this story to improve pronunciation and rhythm. Say, the crow was thirsty. Then say, he didn't give up. Notice how your voice changes. You sound more confident when you believe what you say. This is the power of stories. They connect words with emotion. When you feel the meaning, you remember it. The crow's victory wasn't big, but it was real. He didn't find water by chance, he made it happen. And you can too. Even if your English feels limited now, your effort will raise your level, slowly but surely. Just like the water in the pot, your progress will rise one drop at a time. So keep flying, keep trying, keep believing that your hard work will bring results. You are not too late, not too weak, and not too far behind. You are learning, and that is enough. Chapter 5: The Boy Who Cried. There once was a young shepherd who looked after a flock of sheep on a small hill near his village. Every morning, he took the sheep out to the green fields, and every evening, he brought them back home. It was a quiet and simple life, but to the boy, it felt boring. He wanted something exciting to happen, something that would make the villagers notice him. One afternoon, while sitting alone and watching the sheep eat grass, a mischievous thought came into his mind. He stood up, ran toward the village, and shouted loudly, "Wolf! A wolf is attacking my sheep! Help me!" The villagers dropped what they were doing and ran up the hill with sticks and tools to save the flock. But when they arrived, there was no wolf. The boy laughed and said, "I was only joking, Allah." The villagers were not pleased. They shook their heads and went back home, warning him not to play with such serious things. The next day, the boy felt the same boredom again. He looked around, smiled to himself, and repeated the trick. He shouted even louder this time, "Wolf! Please help! The wolf is here, Allah!" The villagers once again came running. They were sweating and out of breath, but when they reached the top of the hill, they found the sheep safe and sound. The boy laughed again. "You all believed me again," he said proudly. The villagers were angry this time. They told him, "No one will trust you if you keep lying." A few days later, while the sun was setting and the sky was turning red, the boy suddenly saw something moving near the forest.